It's finally here and it's finally done. And of course, I'm talking about the brand new corner garage from Lego. This is the brand new modular from Lego for 2019. And I'm finally complete after a couple of days. Now, as someone who has built out a Lego city and someone that has built over 14 modulars within the last 3 months, I have everything fresh inside my head. So in this video, I'm going to give you the rundown of this latest modular. So before you buy it, make sure you watch this video and hear my thoughts so that way you know what you're getting into. Alright, so let's get started. Let's look at the minifigures. You do get 6 in this set. You do get 6, and 2 of them are mechanics. One is actually more like a gas station pump attendant. One is a mechanic. And then you got one guy that's actually just living on the 3rd floor. You got some cool dude here that is supposed to be riding around on a bike. You have a little girl that is worried about her pet bunny from the 2nd floor. And you have a vet that's also on the 2nd floor. And let me show you a close-up of each. So here's the first mechanic guy. And she could be a mechanic girl or a gas gas pump attendant. Next, you have just a regular dude that is living on the 3rd floor. Here is that cool dude I was talking about, right? Wearing shades and just riding around on the motorcycle. And then here is the little girl that is worried about her pet bunny, and I'm going to show you that pet bunny pretty soon. And finally, you have the older gentleman who is the vet that's taking care of the bunny, right? So you do get 6 minifigs in this, and you also do get a dog. You get a motorcycle, which is pretty standard, and you do get a towing truck. Now, the MSRP for this set is $199, and that's roughly $30 to $40 more than the previous modulars that came out years ago. And this kind of caused the outrage because when this first came out, people looked at the pictures and said, well, for $199, you don't even get tiled floors. And that is true. The 2nd and 3rd floor, you do not get any kind of tiling. But you do get a lot more pieces, and that's because overall, this is a pretty big building, and there's a lot of fine details that went into this. And that is the reason why I believe Lego decided not to put tiling in the 2nd and 3rd floor. And also, it's kind of deceiving, but when you're looking at it this way, it kind of looks like, you know, it's symmetrical in terms of a triangle. It's actually not. This section is actually much wider than this section. So if you look at the floor plan of each floor, it is kind of like an awkward shape. And that's where it'll make tiling difficult. And I think that's another reason why Lego decided not to tile. Every single modular that I have built from over the years, since the very first one all the way to this one, you know, there's been little improvements here and there. And the building technique on this is outstanding. As I show you through the floors, there are just very creative ways of doing things, including this garage door, which a lot of you guys remember, like on a set like a fire brigade, you're just using your finger to lift it up manually. Lego figured out a really creative way to make this turn using this. And this goes really smoothly up and down. And this is the first time that I've seen this on a modular. And there are other things that I'm going to show you that I'm super impressed about. So, those of you guys that are concerned that maybe this isn't worth it, I would suggest otherwise. This is definitely a really, really unique set. And in terms of building technique, this is the most advanced by far of any of the sets I've built. Alright, so here's a closer look of this tow truck. And this is actually a really good looking tow truck. If you guys have built out some of the cars from the modulars, such as the cinema and the diner, you'll see that the evolution of cars have gotten better and better. The most impressive thing is this tow hook in the back. Now this is not just set in stone. Actually, there is a really unique way of using some of these gears to make it so that you could raise it up and also raise it down. And when you're building this out, you're building it one way, and then when you're done, you put it in vertically. So it just kind of shows you, it's hard to explain, but those of you guys that end up building this, you'll know what I'm talking about. It really shows whoever designed this really racked their brain in terms of how do you make a compact gear setup that can be used in a truck, and it fit this beautifully. Now moving on over here, just to give you guys a better look, this is the entrance that actually goes to the second floor and third floor. So this is actually not part of the garage. This, however, is the entrance to the garage. And if you look over here, this is obviously the pump, right? And you can see that it says Joe's Garage. By accident, we meet. But this is octane gas. And the way this is set up is also very unique. I will say though, the way it's attached is not the most firm. So there is some sway there. This side actually clamps in with the tile that I've never seen before, but this side does not. So there's little stuff like that. But overall, the bucket is very unique. It's like a half bucket that's actually pretty solid, and there's a unique way of creating a wiper. So there's little things like that that's actually impressive, okay? And the way this is built out and attaches, you can see it's illusion. It kind of looks like it's in the middle, but if you're looking at it, it's actually offset to the side. And that's because the overall layout of the building is not symmetrical. And I think that is the reason why there's no tiling, and the reason why that it looks so unique. Now over here, you do have some decorations, just some wheels and rims. You have turning mechanism that opens the garage door, and I'm going to show you how that works once I get into it. And then lastly, you got some lights, lamp post, and that's pretty much it for the outside. Let me turn this around real quick. Now in the back here, there's not much. You got this little tiny space, but there is an awning and a door. And all the modulars, the recent modulars, all have a door in the back. The very first few did not, so that's a change. That's kind of like the evolution over the years. And this garbage can looking thing goes in and out, and you can see over here, right, it lifts up the car jack, and it's really, really cool. I'm going to show you guys in a little bit. And outside of that, you got this little canister that's supposed to be filled with oil or gas or whatever, and that's pretty much it for the outside. You could see that the building pretty much takes up the entire board, the entire 32 by 32, and it is unlike any other set out there, and this is really, really unique, and I can't wait for this to be added to my city. All right, so here's a better view of the inside of the garage. And there's a lot of things going on here. First of all, the car jack, right? And I mentioned about this thing. So the way it's constructed, this pushes against, as you can see, do you see that? It has like a kind of like a slanted edge that actually pushes the ramp up. So that is very unique, and if you have a lighter car, it actually does go up. If you try to put a tow truck, it will work, except it's pretty heavy, so it takes some force. Also, Lego figured out unique ways to build a really cool toolbox, and also a tool to take out the tire. And if you take a look at it, it actually really looks like it. So that I was super impressed with. Over here, you do have a register set up and some displays for the window. Again, you just see a tire and some canisters. And over here is where the garage door opens. And remember this turning thing I mentioned, right? You can see how it turns and it pulls the garage door up and then also pushes it down. And that is the first in all the modulars, and this is super cool. This is definitely a first, and it's really impressive. Over here, you do see the staircase from that door going up. Now, one disappointment with this is the fact that there is no wall, right? You figure the second floor and third floor, they really have nothing to do with the garage. And in most modulars that I've built in the past, there is a wall that blocks it off so that this goes straight up to the second floor. However, this is built where that could go up and also the garage could go up. And to me, that's a little weird. I would have preferred if there was some kind of wall. And as you can see from the shape, it is going to be really hard to tile, right? There's a lot of corners, a lot of edges. So this is the reason why Lego decided not to tile the inside, I believe, because tiling this is going to be a mess. All right, so that is the first floor. Let's check out the second floor. All right, so this is the second floor, and if you zoom in onto the window, it says Dr. Jones Animal Care. And the second floor, as you can guess, is an animal or vet hospital. And to me, this is kind of weird because it has nothing to do with the garage, right? And I know that Lego tries to do some creative things with the second and third floor, right? Just like the detective's office, and how for the first floor, it was more of a pool hall, right? So there are things that I think make sense, but in this case, I just think the animal hospital above the garage is kind of weird. And if you look at it, the outside is just a waiting room, right? And because this is a weird layout, there's not much you could do. There are the stairs, right? The stairs coming up, but again, you're kind of blocked off immediately because of the couch. And then you got a parrot, okay, that's sitting there. You got a little table and flowers, and then you have a door, right? And then if you go inside the door, the inside is pretty detailed. You got just a table with that rabbit I mentioned, right? You also do have a desk and lamp and so forth. And over there, I can't tell. That's kind of like an incubator, I guess, right? There's a frog thing in there. There's like a heat lamp. I think that's some kind of incubator table for maybe a small animal. And then over here, this is where you have some tools, right? You have a scissor, a syringe, and something, I guess, a microscope to kind of look, right? It kind of looks like a microscope, it kind of doesn't. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Now, one thing I want to mention, and that is truly unique, is this bay window, right? This bay window, Lego already have bay window pieces. However, they decided to do something different. It's actually two windshields, okay, that's on its side, and it attaches with those. And I guess it's kind of hard to see, but it attaches on both sides utilizing three of these kind of like, I don't even know, periscope kind of looking shapes. And that is how it attaches, right? But combined with these two glass windows from the front, it looks like it's one big bay window, and it looks great. That kind of shows you the technique that has improved over the years. And this reminds me of bay windows from some of the other sets that looks okay from the outside, but definitely didn't look good on the inside. And that is not the case here, right? So overall, I think this is a good second floor. The only problem I have with it is the fact that I don't think it makes much sense when you think about, what should be on top of a garage in terms of having a vet or animal hospital. Just kind of weird. All right, so here's a third floor. So you notice that the bay window is still there, right? The front has been replaced with a lot of small windows, and then there's some plants that's kind of on the edge here, and same thing with over here. So the outside is very similar, although it's a little bit different. And inside, it's more of just like kind of like an apartment. Okay, so I don't know. So you're going from an animal hospital to a third floor where it's an apartment, where maybe the two could be flipped around, and technically it could fit. Because of this layout, you can make this the second floor if you wanted to. So there's a tiny little bathroom that's over there, and you can see a toilet and a paper towel. And also you got a little sink, a little kitchen area with a clock. You do have, it looks like a display truck, okay, a rock and roll poster, and you got a little bed, which actually looks pretty cool. And then you have a TV, and this is pretty unique in terms of how that was created. So again, this kind of shows you the technique has gotten so much better over the years, right? And then over here, just like the second floor, you do have a couch. It's a little bit different. It's red this time. But overall, that is pretty much it. The flow on the third floor definitely looks better than the second floor because you don't have that wall that breaks things up. But however, it's just, to me, I don't know. The third floor should really be the second floor, right? Then you can make the argument, well, you know, the garage attendants, they live up here, which is why there's no wall separating the stairs, right? And this makes more sense to me. And then you can have a completely cut off third floor where it's the animal vet, right? So again, that's just my opinion. I don't know what you guys feel. If those of you guys that have built this, maybe you could chime in and let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, right? Lastly, this is the roof, and it is well designed in terms of the design layout, right? If you look at how the edges are, this is actually a really unique and new way of creating edges, and it fits the second and third floor really well. And overall, there's not much up here. You do have a door, a slanted door, and this looks much better than some of the other modulars that use kind of like a bay window setup horizontally. This looks much better and makes more sense. And also, you kind of have umbrella and you know, a chair that you can lay down in and some plants, and that's pretty much it. All right, guys, that's it. That is my review of the corner garage. Overall, let me sum up by saying that I think the building technique for this modular is definitely the best of all the modulars out there. I truly mean that in terms of how certain things are built, such as the garage door, the TV on the third floor, and the way the bay windows are constructed. Those things are really unique. And also, I noticed a few parts that may be new for this set that I haven't seen before. I'm not sure if those are brand new pieces or not. Other things I want to leave off with is the fact that because this building is built on the back half of this 32 by 32 plate, when you're carrying it, it does feel like it's unstable and might fall off. So those of you guys that are moving this, be very careful because this does seem like it could tip over when you're carrying it from the bottom, which is a little bit different from some of the other modulars that are more spread out where the weight is more even. So that is something you do have to consider. The negatives I have about this set is the fact that this door, the hallway that goes up with the stairs, is not blocked off. That kind of doesn't make any sense. And having the vet hospital on the second floor also, to me, doesn't make much sense. And because of this layout, there's not much room for, there's not much walking room, even in the sense of a Lego building. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. Let me know your thoughts. Those of you guys that already bought this and put it in your city, definitely let me know what you guys think about this modular. And those of you guys that are thinking about buying this, let me know what you're thinking. Is this something you think it's worth it, especially with the price increase to $200? Or is this something that you go skip out on? So make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments. And lastly, I appreciate your support, guys. So make sure you hit the like and subscribe to the channel. That would really help me out. All right, take care, guys. Bye-bye.